Good to see you. I think that it really depends so much on the writing. I think that some people that are capable of making a sequel more special than the original, and we have seen that when the original Terminator came out, then Jim Cameron outdid himself with the sequel, and so then became the highest grossing movie of the year when it came out in 1991 or whatever it was. Since then, we've been trying to outdo that. Not always successfully, but that's what was always the attempt. And so this time, I think Alan Taylor and the writers, the producers have done an extraordinary job to really live up to that standard of the Terminator 2 again. Well, in Terminator 1, it was very clear that it was there just a machine that destroys human beings, and anything that was in the way, I would wipe out in the most brutal way without, any feelings or any kind of remorse. And because my mission was to protect the machines and to find Sarah Connor and to basically be successful with my mission. In this movie, it becomes a little bit more colorful because now I'm again back to destroy Sarah Connor. I'm still this vicious, cold machine that is programmed to destroy Sarah Connor, and nothing will get in my way, except in this story something does get in my way, which is another Terminator, one that has been around for a longer period of time. It's also the T-800 model, but he was programmed to protect Sarah Connor and the human race. So there's obviously a major conflict between the two when they meet, and that's what creates then this huge, epic battle. Then, of course, the Terminators, depending on how long they've been around, some of them are just straight Terminator, as the one from 1984, but then the one that has been around longer has already adopted certain human behaviors, subtle. And so from an acting point of view, you have to really be very wise the way you use that and how you get that across, that he has certain human behaviors and he does have certain feelings and stuff like that, but also it creates great comic relief when the Terminator tries very hard to be like a human and he fails miserably. Well, first of all, I think that the bodybuilder that they picked for me to fight with was really an extraordinary kind of a champion bodybuilder, with terrific muscles, and so that was a great idea to use that approach. And but even after 3-4 days of doing this fight scene and being thrown around and doing all the crazy stunts and this epic battle, I was always wondering while I was doing it, how are you going to do this face replacement? How are you going to do this technological kind of head replacement? And how do you make the body exactly like my body? You see, because his body was extraordinary, but it was not exactly like my body was, right? So everybody's different. So, I was always in my mind was that, how is this going to work out? And so I really never knew the entire movie. There was various different fight scenes with John Connor and with others that were just huge battle scenes, but it was kind of not clear how this is going to work with the visual effects. And then when I saw it just 3 weeks ago, the finished movie for the first time, because I made it very clear I don't want to see it when just going through stages. I want to see it when it's finished so we can really see how it works. And so I looked very carefully at the technical aspect when I watched it the first time. And then after that I watched it a few more times, just to, because from another point of view, how does the story work and so. But I looked at the technical stuff and I just thought it was so seamless. And the technology has advanced so much that it was really extraordinary to get this kind of entertainment and storytelling that you can do that today. Because in the old days you had to do kind of, split screens and all kinds of things. You could tell that it was not the same. It was not like two Arnolds fighting, two Terminators fighting at different ages and stuff like that. But in this movie, it totally worked. Again, the writers came up with really a great way of, in an organic way, to show the aging of Terminator. And because Terminator cannot go into the time travel at a certain point because his hand is exposed, the flesh is gone, the metal is exposed, and therefore he cannot time travel, whereas the others can. So all the other characters time travel within seconds. They're there in the future, and I have to go the old-fashioned way, I have to go the slow way. So I age, of course, decades as times go on from 1984 to 2017. My hair turns gray and I age and stuff like that. And so this was a wonderful way of explaining, how the Terminator ages, how the flesh ages, the human flesh, but the skeleton underneath is still the same. Functions the same, it's the same size and everything like this. As a matter of fact, Alan asked me to gain 10 pounds in order to have the same size as the skeleton always had in 1984. So I gained that weight, trained twice as hard, trained heavier and stuff to get more muscle size and so on, to keep that same frame and wear the same kind of size clothing and all this stuff. But other than that, I aged. So I thought that concept and the way it was written was really terrific, because this way we don't pretend that I'm kind of the 40-year-old guy, but I am what I am, which is I have aged. And so that worked really well. Yeah, I was approached to play Kyle Reese by Mike Medavoy. He said, we have this great project with Hamdale and Orion, and it's a kind of an action flick, kind of low budget. James Cameron, probably have not heard of him, but he has done one movie before, some little movie. So this is his second movie, as far as we are concerned, that O.J. Simpson is going to play Terminator, and so this was kind of the dialogue. And I said, "Well, that's great. I said, let me get the script." And I got the script, I read it, and it was a really great script. And then I met with James Cameron, and during the lunch period with him and with John Daly, I started talking more and more about Terminator and how he has to train and how he has to prepare for this part and how he has to act like a machine and how he has to disassemble and put together guns and blindfolded and how he has to practice shooting and he should blink and on and on and on. So the whole lunch went like that. And then in the end, James Cameron said, "So why are you wanting to play Reese? You should be the Terminator." And I said, no. I said, look, the Terminator only has 27 lines. I don't want to go back with my career here. I like Kyle Reese. I mean, he really says a lot, and he's the hero, and I just started out being kind of like the leading man and being the hero in the Conan movies, so I want to continue on like that. And he says, no, but the most memorable character really will be the Terminator. The way I shoot it is this way, and this one he was explaining the whole thing, and he says, you should be the Terminator, and I will make sure they didn't have to think about the villain's aspect, because it's a machine. So everyone is going to think he's a hero anyway, because he's going to do cool things. And, so he talked me into it basically. So I said, all right, forget about Kyle Reese, I'm going to be the Terminator. And so that's how that happened. And so it was a small project. With Ann Gilhert being the producer, and we went out and shot it in kind of 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and really the cheap way. And Stan Winston was helping us, with the special effects and visual effects and all this. And it ended up, this what was supposed to be kind of a little B movie, ended up with one of the 10 top movies for Time Magazine. And I was called the ultimate villain, and then at the same time the ultimate hero, and all this kind. So all this great stuff started happening, which no one of us knew would happen. So this was all kind of like exploding. And then there was a demand for a second one, and then we did the second one, and that became the highest grossing movie of the year in 1991. I think it was in 1992. I forgot now. But I mean, in any case, so that was really the launch of this franchise, and it became bigger and bigger.